From a mysterious green being lurking the streets at night to elevator decapitations, we bring you 8 urban legends that are actually true.
Number 8. The Green Man.
The Green Man, also known by his other alias, Charlie No Face, is a well-known Pennsylvania urban legend about a green glowing demon who wanders the roads in the dark of night. The story is completely true, however. The legend's based off of a very real person, one Raymond Robinson, who suffered a near-fatal injury in an electrical accident when he was young. In the process, Robinson lost his eyes, nose, one ear, and an arm. In addition, his skin was so severely damaged that it gave off a greenish tint. The man was shunned by society for his looks and was forced to roam the streets at night to avoid confrontation and ridicule.
Number 7. Recovering from being frozen solid.
There are more than a handful of legends that detail people being frozen solid and somehow recovering. The myth has persisted over centuries, and mainstream scientists have hardened convictions that it's just not medically possible to unfreeze a person alive. However, in 1981, a woman from North Dakota was found frozen solid after being trapped in a staggering 22 below zero temperature. She was found and rushed to the hospital, where her skin was too hard to pierce with a hypodermic needle. Her temperature was even too low to register correctly on any device. Dr. George Sather was able to revive her with electric heating blankets and could not believe that she survived.
Number 6. The Body Part Collector.
The Legend of Collectors mentions that your neighbor may be harnessing body parts for their own sick purposes. They stuff the various parts inside mason jars with green liquid and display them proudly on the shelves in their basement dungeons. Unfortunately, this is true. Russian historian Anatoly Moskvin was reported to have stolen corpses from cemeteries, at least 29. He then turned them into life-size dolls and even put wigs and makeup on them.
Number 5. Black Water.
There is an urban legend about a family who stays inside a hotel and drinks and bathes in their black water, which came from a decomposing human body in their water tank. That legend came to life in 2013 when hundreds of guests who stayed at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles bathed, brushed their teeth, and even drank the water from the rooftop tank that contained the decomposing corpse of Alyssa Lamb.
Number 4. Buried Alive.
This is a common story told throughout the world about people who were buried alive intentionally. The reality is that this was a rather common occurrence, and there are at least 219 known cases of people who were buried alive just during the 19th century. In fact, this was such a frequent occurrence that safety coffins were purchased by the rich before they died in order to prevent premature burial. These contraptions housed a bell one could ring above the surface to indicate if they were actually alive. Moreover, you can still purchase modernized versions of the coffins today if you were so inclined.
Number 3. Worms in your brain.
Scared of critters? Then you were probably told as a child that creepy crawlies can make their way through one of your orifices and lay eggs inside your brain. This is actually quite true. Although it happens very rarely, it does occur. One of the most recent cases was in 2013 when a woman heard scratching sounds inside her head. The next morning, she woke up to a pillow soaked in fluid which was pouring out of her ear. She had maggots crawling inside her ear canal. Thankfully, they did not burrow too far and were not able to reach her brain. The maggots came from a bug in Peru, so if you're ever in that area, watch out for critters.
Number 2. Stranger living in your house.
We've all heard stories about a stranger who lives inside your own house with you, whether it's the attic or your garage, etc. Well, this actually happened, and more often than you think. In the past decade, there have been 3 reports of strangers living inside homes completely unknown to the residents. In 2008, a man living in Japan found out that he was sharing his home and all his food with a 58-year-old woman who had been hiding in his cupboard for more than a year. This terrifying occurrence also happened twice in 2013, when some Ohio State University students found a man had been living in their basement for quite some time. In addition, a woman from Washington reported someone was occupying the space beneath the house, and actually even had the gall to reconfigure the heating ducts to make the area more comfortable to live in. In light of these events, it's probably a good idea to make sure your doors are locked at night, and to double check your food supplies to make sure you're not entertaining any long-term guests that you're unaware of.
Number 1. Elevator decapitation.
Topping things off on the list is the old urban legend about having your head decapitated by an elevator. It may seem like such a rare occurrence since people use elevators every day. However, you may be surprised to know there are a plethora of incidents regarding such an event that it's enough to make one never want to ride on one of those mechanical death traps again. In fact, one of the most recent cases occurred in 2003 when a doctor in Houston lost his head riding the elevator. The doctor was unable to move his head from the doors while the elevator ascended. He was killed instantly. It just goes to show that even the most menial of everyday contraptions can be dangerous. So try to be careful and keep loose clothing away from all elevator doors.